The future of warfare is very much in the autonomous space.
You also took part in several conversations that dealt with AI and AI making decisions in terms of warfare.
No, thanks for bringing that up. I think in Munich, it was a bit of a split set of conversations that at least I was a part of. There was, of course, a big conversation on all the issues we're talking about, kind of U.S. realignment, pursuit of negotiations with the Russians, what that means for European security and Europe's role in the world. That was the big conversation. But in private, there were also a lot of conversations about what we're learning in terms of defense and security from Ukraine's desire to push back and defend the line against the Russians. And one of the things that's been coming out, of course, for the last 3 years is that the future of warfare is very much in the autonomous space. Drone warfare, but not just drones. We've had drones for a long time. That's not new. But the fact that increasingly there's AI capabilities that allow these, small, large machines to talk to each other, and also to take human decision making out of the picture at a certain point. This is like the autopilot, basically, right? And so a lot of the conversations are really about what is the new edge of innovation, what is actually already being tested and implemented in the battlefield, and what can we learn from that? And I think, to my mind, some of the big takeaways is that, the wars of the future aren't going to be like Star Wars. They're going to be a combination of like World War I type trench warfare, where unfortunately we still have people getting killed by tanks and guns and ammunition, all that kind of stuff, missiles. And then that's going to be combined with increasingly autonomous capabilities in the drone domain, not just in the air. There's also sea drones, land drones, right? So that's where we are. And I think the interesting part is that you can also now, I think, basically turn the dial on how much autonomy you want these drone capabilities to have, right? So if you're sending a bunch of drones into enemy controlled territory, the only people there are going to be, Russian troops, let's say, you can really turn up the automation and say, even if you, the drone, are not 99% confident that your target is enemy target, if you're only 80% confident, you still take the shot, right? And then in other areas where it's maybe more precision, it's more direct combat between both friendly and enemy sides, you need a much higher level of precision, right? You don't want to accidentally hit your own people, your own infrastructure. So at that point, you can turn up the precision, unless you're 99.9% sure that this is an enemy target, you don't take the shot. But again, you are providing all these instructions in advance, and then you're letting the automation and the AI make those decisions in battlefield. And I think the reason that's happening is also because of things like jamming of communications, right? That make it very difficult for a pilot to retain complete control of a drone from takeoff to target, because the communication line, that signal, gets jammed by the enemy, and then you're flying blind. You have no idea where the targets are. And that's the point where the AI can take over and say, I haven't heard from a human pilot, but I know my instructions are. So that to me was kind of where the conversation was, and where we are in that spectrum of human versus machine control, and how we can be thinking about that for the future of war. But this is obviously where we already are. And this is also where Europe needs to be investing, because it takes a long time to build, F-35s and tanks, to start munition factories. But it really takes no time to build drones.